What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? I am having just a little bit of technical difficulties. So give me just 1 second while we get reset. All right, let's try this again. Look, you guys, we are all in this and we are all learning together. It is trial and error. Hmm. We're going to keep trying until we get it. So, all right. We're trying to get back on, trying to get back live. Sorry about that, guys. Because I am super excited for this conversation. It's definitely going to be dope. We've had um several conversations already in regard to the topic. So, all right, looks like we've got someone joining us.
All right.
There
Here
you
we are
are.
again.
Sorry. Oh man. Trial and error. Trial and error. Sorry about that. Go ahead and keep
I
going.
was like,
Finish where you left off.
I've got a shadow. I don't like this shadow. Hold on. Let me fix my light.
Okay.
I had a shadow. Okay. I don't even know where I left off, but just in a nutshell, oh, here's Kesha. Let me just wait. She's coming back home.
Okay, let me see. Send an invite. There she is.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. No worries. All right, Miss Bonita, go ahead.
All right. So let me see. I'll kind of start over a little bit.
Okay.
Give a brief version.
No worries. Take your time.
I am a certified life and leadership coach, inspirational speaker, author of Who Stole My Significance. And my mission is to really help women, boss women, women leaders, women who know that they have a calling and a purpose to get out of their own way. I specialize in working with women who are people pleasers. They do all the things and they are trying to be all things to all people, and they forget about themselves in the process, which causes more stress and really less productivity. So my mission is just to help especially women be the best versions of themselves out of my own journey of self-awareness, self-love, self-discovery. And I'm doing exactly what I know that I is called and purpose to do. So I'm excited to be able to share with your listeners about this just powerful, important conversation. So thanks for having me.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for
Pleasure.
volunteering your time. I can't even, I know I've said it already, but I truly appreciate your time and you being willing to do this because I know that you're super, super busy. Her assistant found us. Her assistant found us. So,
Yes, that was my assistant. You originally.
I wasn't talking to you. Okay.
Not at first.
Yeah.
Not at first, but I followed up, which I'm glad. So I was like, oh, wait, this is being missed. So yeah, it was my assistant was the first person to reach out, and it's helped me a lot to double myself and be able to find these opportunities to help women. So yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, um, looks like we did have some technical difficulties, so the next guest is not going to be able to join us. However, she will be supporting in the chat. Twyla, we love you, and we are
Hey,
definitely
Twyla.
going to get you on another conversation if we can't figure it out by the end of this one, because I was just so moved by your story too, Twyla, and I know that your perspective and everything that you would have said or will say on this, because I'm not defeated yet. We're still here.
You can catch her episode in her first book on my podcast, Her Hill Society.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Powerful.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I heard
So,
a little bit of her testimony when we talked. It's amazing. I almost feel like that needs to be another subject when she comes on. I don't know. It's not my show.
I mean, it could
Let me
be.
stay out
Look,
of your
listen.
business. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
and she would have been a great guest for this, but she could be perfect for something else because her
Mhm.
story, man, it was just so touching, and just a lot of people can relate. So, Twyla, make sure you drop your information in the comments so that people can follow you. They can find out where you are, how to get your book, how to get your services, things like that. Again, we appreciate you, and we're definitely going to get you on. So let's jump into this conversation now that we've gotten past all the technical difficulty part.
Yes,
So
yes.
the importance of sisterhood, man, I really, really wanted to talk about this because I had a hard time with this. Growing up, I was a tomboy. I did not deal with women. I thought women were just not my people. We didn't see eye to eye type of thing. And now my perspective has changed. Now I don't know what I would do without the people who I call my sisters, my sisterhood. So, Bonita, Kesha,
Yeah.
how do you define sisterhood and why is this so important, especially in today's society?
I feel like I've been talking, Kesha, if you want to. I feel like I've
Oh,
been.
okay. I didn't know I was being asking the questions too. I'm sorry. So sister, that's a tricky question. So how I define it is, because there are certain things I look for in a woman before I become her friend. Um, uh, to me, sisterhood is a woman that, for me, it's like they're like family. Um, I don't know what you mean by really define because each sisterhood could be different for someone.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, she's family. She's secure with herself. She's not secretly trying to compete with me. She's a prayer warrior. She has some type of belief system.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's like sisterhood. She's really someone that I could talk to. She's not always seeking advice from me and then not able to pour in me. Because you have a lot of women that for some reason, when they need something, they use you as a dumping bin and they want to vent all their issues on you. And they low key, they're hating on you. And they're wishing for your downfall. So what I look for in a woman is if I can give her advice and if I'm going through an issue and she can give me sound advice, I know she's a keeper. Her emotions are, stable. We all have these meltdowns and moments, but like where she's not like all over the place. So to me, it's just her being secure in herself. Sisterhood is like family. Yeah, to me, it's I look for those characteristics in a woman before I can really call her my friend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or my sister,
No, that
especially the
makes sense.
praying part. Like she needs to be able to pray for me just like I can pray for her.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Great answer. I can definitely appreciate the qualities that you're looking for. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree with that. Definitely need people who are going to be in your corner praying.
Right.
How about you, Miss Bonita?
Yeah. When I think of sisterhood, I think of connection. I think
I was
of
thinking that.
I think of when you were talking, Kesha, when you're talking about give to each other, I think of reciprocity, right? Is being able to everyone has something, right, to bring to the table to strengthen and to support one another. And I think of trust and vulnerability. So a group of women that you can be vulnerable with, that you can trust, and you have a connection with, and that as I said, that everyone has something that they bring to help strengthen each other, and where one person may be weak, somebody else is strong, right?
Yeah.
And everybody has something to give and everyone has something to receive. Yeah.
Absolutely. The reciprocity part, that's my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yes. And why it's so important, I think, like you, for a time when I was young, I had friends. I always had, girlfriends. There was a time, I guess, teenage to early 20s, where I had more guy friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because I had experiences with people not being in my corner, or jealousy, and I was never that person who was quick. You know how some people, they're quick to say everybody's jealous of them. I was never
Yeah.
that person. I would have people, my mom would like, they're jealous of you. And I'm like, no, they're not. Like, I would be the last person to think that, because that's not who I am, And so there was a time where, as far as someone being there for me, it was, mostly like guys, I think. And then I don't really remember when that changed, but I will say that I think sisterhood has always been very important. When you talk about in this time, in this context, I would say that we live in a life that's faster, right?
Yeah.
More distracted, more is expected of us, right? We're trying to do so much as women, and
Yeah.
it really is important in terms of having that support, having that place or that person, and I think a sisterhood made me more of a network, right? These people can know
Yeah.
each other and not know each other, but having a place where somebody gets you, somebody understands you, someone who can relate to you on some level, and you don't have to explain yourself.
Yeah.
know?
Like
You
those
don't have to
friendships where you guys can just come together. Like if you're really going through something and
yeah,
you just need somebody and you could just sit there and be crying and she will know exactly what to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's so very, again, I think it's always been important, but to your point, to your question, I think one of the challenges is because we're so busy, or because, of social media, our brain can think we have a connection because, oh, I see you on the beach. Oh, I see you at Walmart. Like, we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing each other all the time.
Yeah.
And that can be that can make us think we are really connected to people because we're seeing them,
Mm-hmm.
but
It's a
you're not,
marketing purpose.
right, and you're not with them. If you haven't had a conversation, social media is a one way, right? So I'm seeing pictures of you, I see you, videos of you, but I'm not with you, I'm not talking to you. And so I think sometimes we think, oh, I've seen her. And I'm going to give you a prime example of something that happened to me. This is not with a woman, but this is a prime example. I went out of town. I'm from Nashville. I went out of town and I went to this brunch spot with my sister. Walked in, there was a DJ there who I recognized. Immediately I recognized him because he is my my cousin's boyfriend. I went in, I said, hey, hugged him. Yeah, and I told my sister, hey, this is so-and-so's boyfriend. I sit down to my table. It dawned on me. After I sat down, hugged this guy, we have never met.
Oh, yeah.
We never met. I thought we
He's
met
like, who
because
is
I've been
this?
watching him on social media for years, but we never met. Now, he played it off good. He was like, hey, of course, he's a DJ. He sees lots of people. So he knew I knew him because the way I responded. But I did not realize till after we never met. He did not know me.
That is
I
so
knew him.
funny. Yeah.
So then was like, and so this can be the deception of seeing people all the time, where you're thinking you're connecting, where you're thinking you know them, you thinking you know what's going on with them, but y'all don't know. We don't know what's going on with each other through video.
Reality.
Yes.
Yeah. We have to just keep that reality check, because you're right.
Because you can see people think, oh girl, she's living her best life, and you don't know what happens when that camera, it's only a second. Yeah. It's only a second of time.
What they call it, a little snapshot.
A snapshot. You don't know. And I think that's another, when you talk about sisterhood, and I didn't even, this wasn't even planned to go this way, but I know that's how you like it. But that's a deception, because we can look at somebody and think, oh, she's doing good. Oh, she's doing great. Oh, look at her. She was just out with her girlfriends, or out with this and out with that. And we don't think that we need to call and check up on people, because she might have been happy in that moment. Maybe she wasn't happy and was putting on a happy face. You know what I'm saying? So it's a deception by, we see people and we can be thinking we know them and we're connecting, and we're really not connecting.
Yeah. That's very true. I guess that's why because like some of the women that I've come across and that have met, because I actually met one of my mentors through social media, and I invited her onto my podcast. How she was on social media is how she is in person. So that's where the know, like, and trust has to play a part, so that when you do see a person that you know from social media, or like if they, like, say you're the person that, someone that's been following you, and they come to you and they're like, hey, Bonita, maybe they are actually connected with you because you've been showing and presenting such an authentic presence on social media. So, but it can play both ways, to where, like, I had a similar incident to you, to where I was like, oh, hey, I said hey to somebody, and then when I walked out the gas station, I was like, wait, I was shocked. I was like, I've never met that man a day in my life, and I said hey to him like we just knew each other. I was like, hey, I was like, how are you? I was like, what are you doing on the side of town? I knew him from Facebook. So I understand.
And to your point, that's a little bit what you mentioned. Yes, I'm the same person, right? There's some people who aren't, but they're the same person. But that's a little different than somebody you already know. You're thinking, you're not calling them and checking on them because you see them on social media, supposedly living their best life.
Yeah, you just think they're doing good.
Exactly.
They're only showing you the good times.
Yes.
No, I got you. But I was looking from I was just thinking back as to like how I met like someone, and she was just very authentic with everything. Everything she went through, she did show that on social media. And when I met her in person, she was like the same person, and everything was true. And I'm just like, oh my God. So
that's rare.
Well, because everybody, I don't show. I think you can be authentic and not show every. I doubt she's every. Some people do show everything on social media.
Facebook. She does. Okay. I'll tell you. We'll talk about it later. Okay. She everything from evictions to everything.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. But I think most people don't give you everything.
Right.
And it's okay.
Bonita,
yeah, but I'm not going to.
Bonita, you said something about the snapshot, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, especially on social media these days, people show you what they want you to see. Exactly. And that's why there's so much catfishing going on and so many fake profiles and things like that. So I think sisterhood is knowing the person beyond the keyboard. Like having that personal connection. You know what I mean?
Catfish.
Like, beyond the catfish. You know what I'm saying? Because in a real sisterhood, you see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we all go through trials and tribulations.
Right.
And not everyone is super transparent with it, because a lot of people, as they're going through it, they don't want other people to influence what they're going through. They want to be able to go through what they need to go through, learn from it, grow from it, and then share the testimony, right? Or some people just don't like people in their business.
Right.
You
It's a
know?
matter
But
of
you know
trust
one thing,
also.
say it again.
It's a matter of trust. Like they might not
Yes.
trust the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
this is this
that's why they don't share everything, because they don't trust everyone. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they still have issues they're dealing with on the inside.
yeah,
So
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
trust is a big key. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, I think one of the things that I have a hard time with is women who just totally withdraw and disappear when they're going through.
oh
Because
yeah.
when I consider us having a relationship, and I'm not saying you need to tell me, you may not be ready to reveal everything to me. I'm good with that,
Yeah.
right? But to at least to say, hey, I'm just going through right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Pray for me, whatever, but not just disappear, you know?
Right.
And I dealt with that, with women doing that. And that was very hard for me to wrap my mind around, that how in my mind we had a relationship and something went, and you don't tell me anything. You stop answering my phone calls, you stop, you know, replying to my texts, and then come to find out you were going through. And I think so many women feel like they have to hide when they're going through, and they haven't found that. And some women have had bad experiences, but I think some
Yeah.
women feel like if I can't show up as my best self, I don't want anybody to know that I'm not going through. Or sometimes they think they're the only ones. And this is why sisterhood is so important, is to be in relationships so you know you're not the only one. It is, I remember the first time, there is nothing like showing up with a person or with a group of people, and you are reassured that I am not alone. I'm not the only one
That's
going through what I'm
your
going through.
tribe.
Yeah, I'm not the only one thinking these thoughts. I'm not the only one, you know, with these challenges, and there's nothing like it. And I think so many women feel like they gotta withdraw or take care of it on their own. And one of the things I really learned in this training, a leadership training that I went through, is that, you know, we're not meant to be islands unto ourselves. Like, God put us here for each other. And we
Mm-hmm.
even think, oh, you know, I'll just take it to God. Yes, and God put people here for each other. And it's
Yeah.
so very important that, yes, you might have been hurt before, you might have been let down before. We all have, but you don't use that as a reason or an excuse to just be on your own, because I
Yeah.
am convinced we are not created to be on our own. There is nothing that we are called to do or supposed to do that we're supposed to do on our own. And so I just think that having these conversations and really how, you know, being that sister, being that person that people can come to and people can feel comfortable with is so important.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And something that you said reminded me of something, and it brought me back to the subject of why it's important in today's society. And this might be going into a whole different type of conversation, but I think it's super important to bring it to light because a lot of women are taking on a lot of masculinity. A lot of
Mhm.
women are not feminine like they used to be, to where they can be vulnerable with other women too. Because, you know, back in the day when women didn't have rights and, you know, women had to stay home and be housewives and cook and clean, they always had their girlfriends, right? Like they would always chit chat. You'd see women at the salon and getting their hair done and just talking. But now women have taken on a masculine role, such a masculine role. When you said that when they go through things, they don't want other people to see them. That reminds me of such a masculine trait, because men do that so much. They retreat. They don't let anybody see what's going on with them. They have to be the strong one. They got to be the head of the household.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you brought that with what you said, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But
That's
yeah, I feel
true.
like, you know, and I think that when you have a sisterhood like that, it really allows your femininity to flourish. It allows that feminine side to come out. So,
That's a good
whew, I'm
point.
glad that you
But we
said
don't
that.
want to go back to not having rights, though, Jennifer. We don't
I'm
want to go back
telling
to
you, we don't, but we definitely want to get back to the sisterhood part of it. We
yes,
definitely want to
yes,
get back to the
yes,
femininity, and I think
yes.
that, if women really truly understood the power of femininity, that
Hmm.
there would be so much more of it. And I mean,
Yes,
you can see that example right here in this conversation.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And to your point, like, I think one of the things is that we are taking on so much more when you have,
Yeah.
so many more single parent
Yeah.
households, right?
Mhm.
And things like that. And with those rights, we now are taking on more. And I think it's really good. I'm seeing the conversation come more and more as to, okay, now the pendulum was one way where we had no rights and we were all domesticated
Yeah.
and all of that. And then the pendulums, swung the other way, right? We were burning
Yeah.
balls and we don't need a man and all of that. So now we're trying to find that happy medium where it's like,
Yeah.
wait, I can be independent and really tap into my
And
femininity,
soft.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
I,
exactly. And we don't have to lead like men. And I think that's another thing that women were doing, because it's like, wait, if I want to climb up the corporate ladder, I've got to do what men do. And now they're finding that there is so much value in having a feminine perspective of
mhm.
leadership, that both is valuable and needed. And companies who have women leaders, they are better companies. And that these women leaders are not leading like men, but they're leading out of ways that we are designed for. We are nurturers. We
I
are
was
better
just
listeners.
yes.
We are more empathetic and compassionate. And all of that is really important in creating well-being in the workplace.
Yep.
And we can do it the way we do it, and embrace it and be settled in that and knowing that it's
Yes.
valuable.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Right when you said nurturers,
Yeah.
I was thinking like she's gonna nurture the whole company. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's how
That's
we
what we do.
lead.
That's
Yeah.
right. Exactly. Exactly. And even that, we have to have balance, because a lot of times, a lot of the women I coach, we are nurturers, but then out of balance, that looks like people pleasing. That looks like not knowing how to create boundaries.
Yeah.
That looks like,
I believe in boundaries.
yes, that
Mhm.
looks like, not really saying what you mean, right? Saying what you want people to hear. And so it's really us finding that alignment with our nurturing and knowing, okay, you can nurture and still say no. You can
Mhm.
nurture and
Yeah.
still let your voice be heard. That's still nurturing. It's just a different way. So yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Kesha, did you have I know you said you had a question.
So I've been having technical issues, so I can't even find my questions in my iPad. And I think
That's
we
all right.
already answered one. One of my questions was just for a female in general that might be trying to, she's seeking a woman like Bonita, and she doesn't know where to start or what to look for in a female as a friend. So I believe one of my questions was like, what are some of the things you look for in a woman, so that the viewer that comes across this live, she'll kind of have an idea of what to look for. Because
Yeah.
a woman out there by herself, she might be insecure or just trying to find herself, gain confidence and self-esteem, and she might not know like what to look for. So to help her stop breaking those like patterns of finding the
Hmm.
wrong girlfriends,
Hmm.
what are some ways of her to get in touch with an ideal woman that could become her sister, because she might not know what's obvious to us.
Right.
I always say what's obvious to us might not be obvious to the next
Yep.
person. So,
Right.
um, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like what are some characteristics that a woman who's looking for a true sisterhood friend, what are some things she should look for?
Yeah.
Or it should first start with herself so that she'll actually know what to
Yes.
find. But
That's,
let's state the obvious.
well, I do want to get, kind of moonwalk just a little bit, because
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why, for me, self-awareness is so very important,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because for a woman to understand more about herself, and what are her wants, what are her needs, what does she normally gravitate toward that is not working. You know,
Yes.
who do you normally gravitate? Do you gravitate toward people who are needy, you know, and who don't who you have a lot to give them and they don't have a lot to give you, right?
Right.
You gravitate toward people who are saboteurs. They're always sabotaging you. Like,
Yeah.
so it's really important to really understand, like, who are you attracting in your life that's not working? And what are those characteristics of that person?
Yeah.
Because that will help you first recognize what not to go. And I think what happens is, Maya Angelou, one of my favorite quotes, when someone
Yes.
shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And what
Yeah.
we don't do is we don't believe people the first time. We want to give them a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance. And, oh, wait, maybe it was me. Oh, well, maybe I misunderstood them. Or maybe, and we're always second guessing ourselves and not listening to
Yeah.
our intuition, our inner voice. No, girl, if the first time and it's a red flag, it's going to be a red flag the second, third, fourth time. Learn when to walk away. Walk away
Yeah.
sooner than later. Okay, first off. And secondly, is really finding, I say, you know, being willing to put yourself out there, so to speak, finding places where they are gathering positive women. Like, if you know that you're around, and some of us grew up around negative women, so we don't even know what positivity is. We don't even know what that is. But I would
Yeah.
say is, if you don't know what that is, or you have trouble with, find what, even if it's somebody on TV, who are you around that makes you feel good? What are those characteristics of that person? Like I said, even if it's somebody you haven't met, there are still characteristics that you are getting from that person. What makes you happy? What personality type makes you feel good? And begin to go in places, right, that have that. You definitely, because I feel like if you're around somebody that makes you feel good about yourself, makes you feel good to be there, that you are energized when you leave that person, you're energized when you're going to see that person, that's a good place to start, and start to see what are those characteristics of that person. You want somebody, of course, that's positive. Every time you share them a vision or something you want to do, they're not just telling you, giving you 100 reasons why it won't work, but they are
Right.
like saying, hey,
Yeah.
girl, go for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
they're trying to support you. They're trying to help you solve the problem. They're not trying to help you stack on
Bring it
problems,
down.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're somebody who, you know, is, again, like, likes to laugh, likes to have fun, like, is not a Debbie Downer, someone who's not
That good
always looking for the
energy.
rain. Exactly, good energy.
Yeah.
I think we really know, Kesha, who how we feel around people. I think the problem is
Mm.
we don't trust ourselves to
Correct.
listen to our feelings. We don't trust ourselves. And again, if you're used to being around drama, then drama is what is comfortable to you. And when you go and learn to be around people who aren't about drama, it's uncomfortable. So that's another thing to be aware of, that
Yeah.
it's going to be uncomfortable to be around a different group of people if
Yeah.
you're used to drama.
Right.
If you're used to backbiting and jealousy and drama, it's going to be uncomfortable to be around peace. And you will psych yourself out and think, oh, I'm uncomfortable.
Boring.
This is me.
It's
But
boring.
Mm-hmm.
The
it's all
adrenaline is
about
all the way
peace.
down.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, sis, no, you're used to drama. It's going to take you a minute
Yeah.
to be comfortable around peace if you're used to drama. And just
Yeah.
hang in there and
Yeah.
learn that, you know, everybody, you're not going to jive with everybody, but
Yeah.
find just, you know, I think sometimes we got to, even we talked about this in dating, like, you know, kissing a lot of frogs, like, you know, meeting, but we got to really be able to stick to it when it comes
Don't
to.
kiss too many frogs.
I don't mean literally, but I'm saying, like,
you just don't know who's listening.
You don't. Oh, you're right. You're right. But when it comes to female relationships, we have to be willing to hang in there and to sort and sift people as well, and not be discouraged. And knowing that, hey, the person or people that you want to align yourself with, they will come, but you have to be patient, you know, put it out there, pray, speak what you want, and know that woman or group of women, they're there and they're looking for you just as much as you are looking for them. So we got to be patient as well and be that person. I think another thing we don't think about is be right. The Bible says he who wants a friend but must find himself friendly, right?
Yeah.
Are you the person? Are you being or becoming
Are you
the
likable?
person?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's your personality like? You know, you can't go into a new place wanting to meet people and you all like closed off and, you know, frowned up.
Yeah.
Are you being the person that you need to be for the person that you want? You know, the friend that you want. Are you being a friend? Are you finding yourself friendly? And so, you know, those are just some practical tips. But I think more so than anything, trust yourself and know that if it don't feel right, it's probably not right. Trust yourself.
Yeah. Wow, that was really good. So that would be awareness. So that means you know, knowing her environment and you know, first starting with self and what doesn't make you feel good, stray away from it and start feeding what does make you feel good if it's something positive. So that's good. Definitely having some type of belief system, and that way she can, you know, get the right guidance.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. But I think you definitely hit it on the head. The energy, it does not lie. And coach, what you said, you attract what and who you are, not just what and who you want.
That's
Boy,
it.
let me tell you, you definitely have to pay attention to who you are. It is very when you that self-awareness, it's just when you have that, it's like that's when the power of manifestation really comes about. And you get everything that you want, everything that you are.
That you align.
And not only that, but when you have that self-awareness, you trust yourself. So you're able to listen to your intuition even more. It's like when we're hurt, when we're wounded, when we've had trust issues, we don't trust ourselves, especially when we've had those relationships where we've been broken or hurt. You know, we've had a lot of those, but that doesn't mean that you give up on friendships, that you give up on sisterhood. You take those lessons and you use it. And that's when you said that, listen to your intuition. It's like I remember having those feelings about certain people in my life, but man, I just love them so much. And I wanted them to go where I was going, and I wanted them to feel what I feel, but they weren't meant for that. But they weren't meant for that. Exactly. And so something had to happen in my life to where I got hurt again. And now it's just like, you know what, look, I can't keep doing this. We got to make some smart decisions.
Yes. And this is to your point. This is the thing that people don't want to talk about. You got to take personal responsibility for the relationships that you attract in your life.
Accountability.
It's you, boo.
Yep.
It's you.
You are the common denominator.
If everywhere you go, and this can work in the reverse, if everywhere you go and you bumping heads with people and you meeting the same people, guess what? Who's the common denominator? You. You are taking you everywhere you go. And if you don't resolve those issues, those people will be the same. They'll have just different faces and different names.
Yes.
You will continue to run into the same people until you resolve those issues. So we have to take personal responsibility for the people that we attract and we allow in our spaces.
Yeah.
And it's okay. We make mistakes. But what's important, are you learning from them, or you continue to make the same ones because you're not taking the personal responsibility and examining yourself? Like, wait a minute, why do you keep attracting the same type of person? Because it's something in you. It's something you're allowing, and it's something you are not standing up against that causes that. And so it's not because we say, oh, I can't trust women. No, that's not true. The women you brought into your life, you can't trust. But that doesn't mean you can't trust women, right? And so when we take personal responsibility, we're not blaming all the women out for some bad relationships, but we're like, wait, I gotta check me. Who am I? What is my environment?
Gotta see where it's coming from. Yeah.
Right. Am I recognizing it before it's early? And most times it's none, you're not recognizing when it's early. You're not going to the right places to meet the right people. We are making the choices, and it's up to us to make new choices and learn from the choices that didn't go right.
Absolutely. Completely agree. Learning from lessons.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, I get tired of bumping my head. I do. I'm like, okay, I'm tired of bumping my head on this one. This got to stop. It take me a minute too. Right. But I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when you recognize it. And you just like, okay, this is familiar.
Yeah. And that's why self-awareness is important. So you will understand your patterns, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's familiar. But if you're just going through life, going through the motions, you won't recognize it.
Exactly.
That's why you got to be
self-awareness. Yep. That's self-awareness.
You start to be so aware to where what you're avoiding is plain in daylight, and you just be like, okay, counterfeit, move to the side. You recognize it.
Yes.
And you're the silly one if you give it a chance. So
that's it. That's it. Yeah.
So I have another question then. So for the women who have a hard time creating these bonds or starting to build these bonds, someone who is kind of coming out of that bondage of not trusting and, not being able to connect with other women, what would you say are some practical ways that women can build stronger bonds to create sisterhood?
Practical ways to build stronger bonds.
Goes back to awareness.
It does. Like, I hate to say it, and and when you
journaling, writing down these thoughts and these feelings, but like she gave an example of awareness, and I'm trying to think because like I grew up a little timid, but that's another story. It's just what I saw. I was a little shy, and then at some point I just became bold. I don't know. I think God was just like, okay, give me, whatever. I don't know. But, yeah, I would definitely say writing down those thoughts and those feelings, seeking help, finding someone like Bonita, getting a coach, because at that question, she's fragile. So she's not ready to open up and meet these women yet because she's still trying to find herself.
Yeah.
So finding someone like Bonita, like she said, hanging around the women you want to be like, the woman you're trying to create. From my perspective, I'm sorry, I just had to get that out because you was about to say something.
You're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
but
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Your turn.
What I say is something similar. Is first off, because I'm thinking of the whole context of your question of she's been hurt and the trust issue, right? One of the things that I think is so important is to and I take my clients through this when they have this thing that they can't get past with relationships, that they go through a process of forgiveness. It's really so important to forgive the last person and the last person before that and the last person before that that has hurt you, to release all of that disappointment, to release all of that hurt, and to forgive yourself. I think really it's so important for us to develop that relationship with us in terms of who we need to release and how do we need to really nurture and have compassion for ourselves, for our mistakes, for our choices, for who we are, for who we're not, who we think we should be, all the things, because that in and of itself, that releasing and that healing in and of itself will begin to draw the people in your life that you are looking for, because you begin to be a happier, healthier, whole person. Exactly. And so it really is, because when you meet that person or people, you can be more open. But if you are kind of coming from this hurt place and you're not in forgiveness and you haven't released it, you really can't allow good things, things to come in, because you're so consumed, right, with the past. And so I think that's really it. I'm a person, I'm going to always start with you, always, because everything, I believe everything starts with us.
Absolutely.
So that is having that, definitely a coach, maybe a therapist, maybe both, right? But to heal, if you've had a whole history of, and a lot of times if we look, sometimes our relationships with women are directly related to our relationships with our mother. And so a lot of times if you don't have a strong relationship with your mother, you probably have some problems with women as well, and really trying to figure out what is some of that root, what is going on, and that needs to be healed, right? And so even going through that process, again, I'm really a believer that God puts in our path exactly what we desire and exactly what we need, but we have to open and ready for that, and that self-compassion and forgiveness is really like a foundational key to doing that.
My healing journey started in like 2017, to where I started becoming really aware of myself. And so it was always your roots, like where do you come from? And how you grew up in your household, it does determine your adult relationships and just your characters, your character traits as an adult. And so once you start to become aware of that, you're able to then dig deep and start trying to, because when you're trying to heal and you're growing, it's very messy but beautiful towards the end, because then you can see how far you've come. And then you recognize certain people that come into your life. You start recognizing, you know if they're hurt or a little damaged, or how to talk and handle them. You start seeing those things because you've been there, you've dug it all up, and now you're nicely folding it, putting it into its compartment so that you can put it away. That's the analogy I use. But so that's a really good point. I like what you said. It's definitely, you know where a person, where they are mentally and just everything about them based on when you've been healing, when you're going through the growth process, because I don't think you can ever put a cap on growing, but that's how you can determine the right friends to put in your life, or girlfriends. You'll know how her connection is with her mother, or how her connection was with her father. Me personally, I want a woman girlfriend that, if she's single, then she's secure with herself, she's family oriented, she's trustworthy, she doesn't have any father problems, because now I know I can bring my man around her without her trying to talk to him or get his attention, because that's a problem. I'm not insecure, I just have to trust you. And so, like, just knowing stuff like that, just how they grew up, and if she's taking care of herself, meaning is she healing? You know, does she have any childhood trauma that she's still trying to fight with? Those things are important to know about your sister, because that's how you create that sisterhood, that true bond. And if you catch her while she's, you know, we're always healing, we're always evolving, at least you should be. Yeah, whatever. I forgot I was gonna say.
Well, there's some people, I'm going to pick up where you left off. There's some people that when they're in that process of healing, you see something in them. So you keep them around, but they haven't necessarily made it into your sisterhood yet, because it's going to take some time. It's going to take some more healing, but she's not completely X'd out yet. You know, like there's some hope for you. There's some potential here. So I don't know. That's where my thought was going when you said that. Like,
I think that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, like, because that's great, because you heal from some things. You know, you put it away. You know, you put that little girl away, and now you're wearing your big girl pants. You're because you're living as that woman. So you're saying, you know, you might come across a sister and you see her healing, and you could see it.
Yeah.
But there's still some fundamental things she needs to.
So what it is that I think for me, building bonds with other women, it's like becoming the person that I needed. So me knowing that I went through that, but I still came out this way. It's like, be the woman that woman needs. And what is it? Treat a woman as she is, and she'll remain how she is. Treat a woman how she could be, and she'll become what she should be.
Love it.
I don't remember where I read that quote or who wrote it, but I just feel like that's been one of my greatest things, because I had to open up to other women. And when I did, I didn't know how to create bonds. I didn't, you know, I had such a hard exterior, and I was just like, well, who did you need when you were going through this? What was the woman that you turned to? What type of morals did she have? What type of values did she have? What type of energy did she bring to the table? Like, I want to be that for somebody else. And so when I started thinking that way, I started to create way stronger bonds, because the connection was genuine. It was from a place of love. It was from, I'm not going to judge you because I've been there too, and I just want to see you win.
Yeah. Good.
And so that's really how I create my bonds with women who, because, you know, there does have to be some boundaries and things like that, especially when women are healing, because you never know which way it can go. But I definitely always want to put my best foot forward when supporting other women, and just letting them know that they're not on the journey alone, and that there are women who will support you out of the kindness of their heart, out of pure genuineness, you know. And so I feel like that's a great way to start, you know, building those bonds.
Traits.
Yes, look for those character traits. But me,
definitely.
it's just I always keep that in mind. Who is the woman that you needed? Be the woman that you needed.
Yeah.
Because I think when we look back, it's like, when you think about a good woman, a solid woman, a lot of similar traits, right? So if you keep that type of mentality, you really kind of can't go wrong. That's just how I seen it. And so like everything that I do with women, and like when I put my events together, and when I think about different things to talk about, it's just like even in my prayers, I'm just like, God, give me the words to touch somebody who needs it. Like, give me the people who need to hear what I'm saying. Like, it's just, everything is so genuine, and everything is from the heart. And I feel like that's the best way to create the bond. So.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. It's good.
So,
It's good.
That was
Keisha, did you have
beautiful.
any other questions? Oh, thank you.
No, I was just thinking. I was just thinking about when you said, you know, God give me the words. So I was just, you know, thinking about like what I do to, you know, be able to say certain things to people. So that was, it was really touching. You just had me thinking. So no, I'm speechless right now.
Awesome.
um I mainly just wanted, you know, I know someone in the comments, I know you have a girl crush, and then Jen has a girl crush, and then Shrina was also saying, like, for some reason I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but I was trying to read her comment. She had a good point what she said. Oh yeah,
The
she said
assignment.
sometimes, oh yeah, somebody got it, sometimes it's an assignment from God, sometimes it's forever friends. So I like that. So
Mm-hmm.
she's right. So sisterhood to me is like she said, like I think Bonita made that point earlier. She said some are friends and some are not friends. And it's sort of like why I had created Her Heal Society. It's just a network of women from all different backgrounds. Um, but we're familiar with each other's story and we're there for each other. And it's a connect, you know, it's women from different backgrounds, from being a little child to growing up to what they're doing now. So yeah, I like what you said. You just had me thinking. And whoever comes across this conversation, because she's seeking something different, you know, everybody almost has access to Facebook now. I think it'll help her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was thinking when you were, I think really when you both were talking about, you know, trust and bonds, and, you know,
Sounds like an insurance
healings
reference.
and the process. I was thinking of like, I learned this a while ago. When you think of, you know, relationships, any
Yeah.
relationship, as like concentric circles, right? You got the small circles and circles, and that
Mm-hmm.
there's certain relationships that are on the outer, you know, the outer perimeter, on the outer circles, and certain relationships are on the inner circles. And if we look at those and as such, where, you know, to your point, Jennifer, like, yeah, there might be some people, and both of you touched on this, that you have relationships with, but you know, like you know they're on a journey and maybe not quite ready for maybe the be on, you know, your inner circle, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
still want to maintain that relationship with that person. And so I think it's really important just to be aware of people, where people are,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
you know, on your system of circles.
Mm-hmm.
um and some people you need to move out, some people you're ready to move in, right? And
Mm-hmm.
to just be aware of that and be willing to move people out when they need to go out and be willing to bring people closer, you know, when that is time as well. And so knowing that it's okay to have different levels of bonds and relationships. Everybody don't have to be your best friend,
Nope.
and you don't want to have everybody at arm's length either, you know, that
Yeah.
a balance of different types of bonds, different types of friendships,
Yes.
different type of relationships is really, I think, you know, really healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that, okay, when I need this, or when I need to talk about this, this is who, because I have those friends. If I need to vent or I need advice about these teenagers of mine, I got teenage mama friends that I call.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes
when
Right.
I need
sense.
when I need to talk about business, I have business friends that I call, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I want to talk about spirituality and all of that, I have those friends. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
different
Mm-hmm.
friends that I know that I'm sharing different things with.
Yep.
And, you know, and it makes it all whole. Now they know different things. They know a lot of the same things about me, right? But there are certain
Mm-hmm.
conversations that I'm going to have with certain people. And I will say this, and we're talking about sisterhood and how so important it is. I have two friends who really helped me this, well, and I'll say the last few years with my teenage boy, and they both have teenage boys. And if you don't have a teenage boy, you don't know what teenage boy moms go through. And so, I mean, it was a life, really. Like, I am blessed and grateful to have those women in my life that I can call and who knew exactly, when I say exactly what I was going through, exactly what I was going through, because their boys went through the same.
Yeah.
You just nothing real horrible, just teenage stuff,
Yeah.
And to have those friends that I can be like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And to just and knowing like, oh, you'll get through it. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Not to say, and not all of them, they didn't necessarily, they might have given me a little bit of advice, but not really. I didn't need them necessarily to tell me what to do, because in certain instances, there's nothing to do but pray and wait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just for somebody, as I said, who got me, who understood me, like not from a just like, not from a just a cognitive intellectual point of view. No. They've been through it. They've experienced it. And I didn't have to say all the things because they knew.
They recognize.
And to have that is just, I can't even explain it. And so that's a great example of how important sisterhood is, because it can really be a matter of whether you sane or insane if you don't have somebody in your corner to help keep you sane, to help keep you grounded, to help saying, girl, you're gonna get through this. I know it's hard, but you're gonna get through it. And it was, and I just thought of that just now. That's just a really, really strong example of how important and valuable sisterhood can be. We all need those people that get us, that get what we're going through, that can say it's gonna be all right. They're both on the other side. Their kids are grown, their boys are grown. So having somebody on the other side but can empathize with where I am now is, like I said, was invaluable. And I wouldn't trade anything for it. And that's for it. And that's why it's so important. Raising children in this time and all the things, it's important just to have people that
Get it. We talking about kids, we gonna be on here forever. She said teenagers. Oh man. No, but absolutely. I've found some of my greatest friends, and it was just through commonalities, just things that we've been through, and that's, sometimes the hurt that you've been through, other people can see that, and that's how they know who you need at that moment. So those are those forever bonds. And so I know exactly what you're talking about, especially when, like we said, it's just those people who you can be with, or you can be going through something and you don't even have to say a word. You don't even gotta say a word. They can feel your energy. They can sense everything that you need, and that's one of the greatest things that I found about sisterhood. It's just it's such a beautiful thing, especially when you're so open to it. So I just encourage anybody who's watching. I hope that you received something from this. I hope that you got value from this. I mean, we went through it all. We said everything. It's just, look, if you ain't got a sisterhood, go get one for you right now. And if you haven't been working on it, start finding yourself first, and the sisters will come.
That's it.
So, Bonita, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I had so much fun talking about this with you. I just feel like everything that you said was everything that I needed. And and Kesha, you always give value. So thank you so much for being my co-host. Is there anything that anybody else would like to add before we end this conversation?
How can they get in contact with you, Bonita?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I am on Facebook and Instagram at Amazing Women Network, or you can go to amazingwomennetwork.com.
Okay, make sure you
Nice.
drop that in the comments for the viewers.
I will. And I just
And
want to say, ladies, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you. And I just want to point out, because Jennifer, you told me about what you and Kesha were doing, and you both have, your individual brands and podcasts, and you're coming together. And this is an example of what sisterhood looks like, right? And so I said, you know what? I loved it. I love how you all have you have your personal brands, and you came together to strengthen each other and strengthen each other's brands. And that is an example of what it's all about. So I just want to acknowledge you for exemplifying what an aspect of what sisterhood can look like, and that there will be other people that can just emulate what you created. So kudos to you. Keep doing what you're doing. So glad to be a part of this conversation. Would love to come back at another time. Don't hesitate to call me. But I thank you, and I'm already excited about all of the women who will continue to grow and be inspired and learn from you and what you're doing.
oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Heartfelt.
Definitely. I felt that. I did. Thank you so much. I'm so humbled.
Is Twyla still in the comments?
Twyla, we love you too.
Oh, I haven't seen Twyla.
I haven't seen her either. But it's all right. We'll be in touch. We'll definitely be in touch, Twyla. So again, Bonita, thank you so much. I'm already excited for the next conversation, because this one was so powerful, and I appreciate your input, the value that you gave everybody, our audience. So you guys make sure that you like her page, go support her businesses, seek out her consultation services. I mean, obviously she has a lot of value to give, and
she does.
Can't go wrong. And make sure that you get her book. Drop that link in the comments. Drop the link in the comments. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay. If you guys got any sort of value from it, make sure that you like and share this post.
Hashtag value.
Hashtag value. And I pray for everybody in the relationships in your life. And I hope that this conversation touched you, helped you in some sort of way. And if you feel like there's somebody in your life that can use this message, make sure that you share this with them as well. Okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channels, our podcast channels on Apple and Spotify and all those great places. We'll definitely drop the links, but you can also find them in our bios. So you guys, it's been another beautiful conversation with bold moves talking about sisterhood. You guys have an amazing evening. We will see you after Kesha picks out of her jar.
I have to go get the jar. Can I just go get it real quick? I feel
because I want to
go get it.
I'll be back.
I was so like, wait a minute, I'm forgetting something.
No, I didn't know y'all did it real time.
Yes. So this is my jar. This is my jar. And we just, hey, look, what are some good topics that we could just get real raw and dirty with and just bring some value to somebody? And so she did hers, I did mine, and we both got so many different topics. Keep us here for the rest of the year.
Speaking of raw and dirty, guys, we've told you before, if you have anything you want to talk about, just drop it in the comment or DM Jen, or you can DM me, and we'll add it to the jars. So this is mine. It's an instant coffee. Oops. So we'll see.
Drum roll.
I'll get something good. Oh, okay. So it is, what is settling, and how does one know when they are settling?
Ooh,
that's a good one. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one.
That will be a good one.
I will be looking out. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for the next conversation. Say what that topic is again.
The question is, what is settling, and how does one know when they are settling? So when are you starting to just give up and you're starting to settle? So
And that means
You take that
anything
in
in
so
life.
many. I was
That,
gonna say you can
that's
take that in so many
Anything.
different
And we
directions.
ain't just talking about the men we settle for, okay?
correct. Not just men. When are you settling on your goals?
Right, your
when
life.
your life, yeah, you're the not setting boundaries, not honoring them. So when are you settling, and
Yeah.
how are those things recognized? Have you put down that journal of goals and just set it down and started just going through the same mundane life situation every day? That's
Mm-hmm.
settling. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks.
All right. So
Yeah.
stay tuned.
All
Look out
right.
for that flyer that's going to drop, and make sure that you like and share this post again, you guys. So we hope that you have an amazing rest of your Monday night. I'm in California, so I still got a few hours left before I get to go to bed. But you
Yeah.
two, I appreciate you jumping on here so late to
Yeah.
cater to my needs.
Yeah.
He's just later than me. You're Eastern, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably 10 o'clock here now. I don't know what time it is.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
9:19.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right, girl, go on and get you some sleep.
So we from coast to coast. I
I'm
love it.
yes,
telling
Coast to
you.
coast.
yes.
All right.
All right,
Well, thank you
ladies.
so much, ladies.
Thank you,
It's been a
ladies.
pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.